while she walked, and even sing a song in a small voice. I hummed a little song yet learned the hour and minute that went to the elementary school. Then, all the thoughts that come to mind. Mid aloud. Mid was telling in my head. If she was a world of mysterious beautiful fairy tale to think if they have spare time and fly wings, such as pigeon, the sky would be how do I fly? Then, I can be anything seen from the high sky. It mom is not chasing even the sky. It does not also come dad. Your money is also not I want. The blue sky. I'm good as long as it flew singing the song. When you feel like eating something. Came down to a smooth stop in the town like a dove. The two warm Edogawa yaki from Edogawa yaki store dozens 3 dozens kidnapping. Also it's good once you up to a smooth stop in the sky. Nobody I do not promise come chasing. Then, while eating a delicious Edogawa yaki, I say if we fly singing a song. Blue sky near the top of the above is. Either mom died. Teacher of the school. Things that human beings had gone at you guys up to the sky and die. So, I'm sure in the sky I have mom. And, if the pigeons were seeing mom, but pigeons so much higher and higher climb I wonder. Quote, Sachiko So was widowed mother at the time of the 3-year-old. But his face was a faint memory. And the breast that was warm plump. Friendly smile become a phantom. It has been at any time floating in front of the eye. At that time, Oda-chan was also friendly Oda-chan that does not yet drunkard. Hey, you, from no? That was what Edogawa yaki is no such thing what I fly in the sky? Hung a voice from behind suddenly. I was surprised, and timidly turned around, wearing a mouse-colored over. Wearing a Toriuchi bow of rat's color. Stood a slender tall uncle. Looking at it, the face of Sachiko has become to suddenly gloomy. Is blown away pleasant dream is to somewhere. It came back as painful fleeting life. She looked up at the man in wow addiction. Had Oshidama, you would be Sachiko-san. I would be so. The girl is not even niggly, was my slightly nodded. That's right. Now, selling flowers. It's the place to go to your house. You, as a poor child. Nanny mo it I do not look forward to. Then, the girl turned to the angry face replied in a reserved manner's voice. I not a poor child. Either that fun, because that the fun would that fly in the sky like a dove. Uncle I'll know perfectly. God from the sky. I'm coming to pick you up you. I gold of God. And, lovingly to you it gives us. I surely go to the sky now. And, we'll meet to mom. Quote. Listening to it, the girl become more scary face. Peeled and flipping over there. And I think issued a vulgar sound of chip from between the teeth. It went suddenly fledgling. In terrible momentum. It went fledgling like being any time though is chasing the murderer. Girl while I felt contempt. It was thought to have been teased. No, it was broken a pleasant dream then it might have Shikunisawa, most man of rat's color of the clothes of no human beings. Girl feelings were well understood. He does not even try to owe the later. While standing in its place. Was not mean-haired to smile. He was smiling at the pleasure of the Almighty God. Good God evil God. A few days later. Hayami Shokichi or Seiji Watanuki. Or Aizawa Kenichiro, or Tanamura, Keisuke, or Rokuro Miyano, or Sagawa Kageotoko with Shunde, of the other myriad name, had subsided in a room of the Imperial Hotel. Here, he was a young president Aizawa Kenichiro a trading company in Osaka. When the evening late arriving from Osaka, but entered the room of the two between continued that has been decided with his room. And a good night's morning overslept. In Okidashi around noon of the next day. Since the beginning of the slow bus. Favorite a boy light breakfast light brought to his room to and consume it, and gives audience a customer of one person that had called in advance. Here he is. In addition to call preface the customer had decided not to meet anyone. It 23rd was a beautiful woman of showy couture of the 4-year-old. Through the better of his room in the living room, From the first long kiss, I was seated flush against the body, in the long chair. There is a secret society of the upstream women. It's perfect for your hobby. Likely to be worth a reward of about 100,000 yen. Woman's nose had picked up a pretty irritating laugh and was able to single dimple on the left cheek. I was Arashika, had been invisible, was strutting cigarette hand movements. I see and talk in more detail. Aizawa of Kageotoko is, while looking at the woman of dimples, was asked to smile. Leader. But funny is to say, I people leader. Such like of the women's team. It is the original Marquise. Gonna tell you too much rich of the Haruki Mrs. team members is 15. I guess 6 people minute I get rich bizarre madam. I know seems to have been horse racing buddies beginning. It is the one that is a party of mahjong or playing cards. But gradually a secret society of the real in the by. Now I began to indulge in the pleasure of the secret. Everyone wearing a black gown, wearing a black hooded cowl. Gonna be secret meeting in the house of secrets that are borrowing to do so. Then, I plot evil. Quote, for example, an erotic play of adultery. Seems to have been doing that quite drastic. If as you as I'm not members. CHAA Naku is your welcome. Status and property. By Nada enter through to the society. So the Teiyu worth of 100,000 yen. I'm in location of the meeting time. How? Me to buy. Quote, Aizawa has taken out a checkbook from the pocket in silence. Was stamped crowded right the amount of 100,000 yen. While handed it to the other party. In its place and time. Yogi of the house in the open field. I'm there as a wide basement. Members are going to wear over on top of the gown. Take off an over in front of the gate. Gonna wear a masked. Then, turn to the gate. When was the sign to the people is? I'm me put. Sign do this. Quote, the woman mize by the hand movements. Such is the spell of Shingani Mitsu. And, it has been described in detail the position of Yogi of Trist's office. How? I would have been well explored. The meeting is, what is open from 10 o'clock tomorrow night. Yeah, so, was taught to you as would am one of the team members. Not you taught us. The better of me. Have at the hands of Aizawa's Jikiden. I was left out. Opponent. Thought if danger is not, gonna have peace of mind. But, never revealing to others it should not be. Become a blue face. Has been pushing the idea. I have a compelling scary sanctions. The name of the person. Kota Hirasakiko. I wife of emerging businessman. Still beautiful person it is not turned 30. Laugh grinning deep in the dimples. The back is either high, about me than 5 centimeters. But it is much lower than Aizawa-san. Because also is one of the art of invisibility to or higher or lower that if enough somehow becomes back, would have already known. I garbled to the woman. In the meantime, Mr. Sakiko of weights of Kimi I roll. Worth of in if not hundreds of thousands of yen not in, to meet with me and Sakiko-san. Trying to the fact that this hotel of the grill, I was found, quote, at that time, so as to be surprised. I rang the telephone bell. Aizawa took the receiver and walked to it. Yeah, what it is well out to use. Do not go back to the inner. Was found. And to the suburbs I put the after also far. For each find a house with a phone tay. Sasaro make a phone call to here to there of people. That he is good if you know the house of position. Business is able to produce even to your discretion to purr. Until there is no house. I continue it. Dat peasant house phone there is a house. I go over to there. Men's children's feet. Not worry about losing. Understood do not. So, placing the handset, suddenly opening the cocoon that had frowned, I saw a smile in a woman. It somehow seems no there's another incident. I is always what I busy person. A case of about 10 at any time. There is no purpose in life is Naku-s ongoing. Busy. Now the phone is. It is the case of the better to serve a good God. I is often made to the evil God. It can become a good God see. For example, for you, Because I'm a good god at any time. Light laughter. Not only Tome advanced me, also to a lot of girls would you, laughter. Its fruit, even in the lot of a woman, did not mean she knows. It has been found. It has been found. I do not you say dat man of the queen bee. The queen bee has the right to love a lot of the opposite sex. Laughter. I'm not just sex. Mr. Aizawa is not that you become good god dat to the boy. Laughter. Not that when you are saying each wasted. I'm busy. It. I was found. To tomorrow evening 6 o'clock. To individual grill. I bring Sakiko's. It as 6 o'clock. As before. I multiplied. Refers to the phone to me, if you can. Well then. Today is only this. Quote. Hands extend of Aizawa. It was lift up a woman in Wasakaki. Then. I walked up to the left, a door was combined lips. Gently down to it. Open the door. Come on please to show refers to the better of the hallway with one hand. In the correct posture as a knight. Was lightly bow. Woman countenance in that lost. And will go away with a laugh. Aizawa's back jumps to the place of the phone. Call the aviation section of the newspaper today. Do not you have Kitano-kun of the astronauts. This is Aizawa of Osaka. Kitano-kun. It was good being here for me. It had asked the meantime. I want you to do immediately. Because it is one of the good deed. Companies once you got fired. And because you are the only grounds as I will receive. Laughter. Location come to say on the phone to now. From the better of you. As soon as you are ready to fly. The Pearl River me on the phone here. So, I asked him on the fly. Quote. Even in the newspapers today. Also at the hotel. And busy telephone exchange hand. I knew that there is no time to have something eavesdrop. Aizawa is vigilant to such a fine place. It's been fun to be run the risk until the last minute of the line. Another phone. Miyako paddle. Aizawa. Now I'm Aizawa. That had asked during this time. I'm more and more today. Soon have a costume of example. The Pearl River came here. Today is good God together and you am going to. I become God's goodness almighty. Fun. So, I immediately, because Miyako is in one of his Amata mistress in this kind of thing was a perfect zenyo. 12-year-old Sachiko Son is ordered to come to buy eggs, only one in the stepmother of lung disease was out of the house. In an abnormal psychology of the child who dreams suddenly, even as it is far, went even walked anywhere. But the mountain was not visible from Tokyo. I was looking for something that live on beyond the mountain. The road, once walked to the ends of the ends. It is deeds that all that are not them there is another world. To a child centered that you went away from the country of demons. Town on both sides of merchantses. Was also followed forever. Cute boys asked to put on the buttocks of bicycle dad. For a large waist Nishigami dad. Went to us happily. Girl after school has led many. It went across a train street. The walking behind direction standing in the first. Was a kindly man of the teacher. Waru likely large child of obstinacy has had. Child is laughing in kayaki if there were. Child walking downhearted away alone column also had. And is also walking an hour. The city has become increasingly lonely. There was also a rare thatched house in Sachiko. Are followed by the open field. It was or there is a shrine of the forest behind the houses of the town. The field has been seen. In the home of one house of thatched tobaccoin, Aramonoin, was selling candy. In the lid of the glass box containing the confectionery, it had piled up white dust. Kindness seems grandmother had been dozing in the storefront. A gawa past the road was flowing. Rural children were playing scoop the fish with a net, since the small bucket is put, and try to peek. Madaka like a cute fish as 2 or 3 dogs was swimming Kairojiro. Children, everyone seemed to such unlikely a nasty waru. Among them, it had lovely child alone. The other house was gone. Both sides were just fields. Because there was a big open field. I went bent to the better. It was the way of the white soil. Sachiko did not know, but there was a subdivision of large land company there, but had not yet can also land prime. Pillars of possession of land the company stood. Nowhere house it not, was not even human. Far Conmoy the forest had several scattered. The sky is a lush. Soft sunshine warms the ground, moves back and forth in the heat haze stood. Grass over there, as seen through the steam. It was strange that are fluctuating. Sachiko has become more and more comfortable to dream. Gone far, far away from their shack, thinking that it will not go back to the other frogs. And her small chest to empty, floaty and such that the lighter body, that has not been experienced at all to this kind strange of emotion has been boiled. The 2-3 years, in the eyes of Sachiko did not cry even once. Tears are fukuriaga. It is along the cheek. I spilled a flake without endlessly. From somewhere far away, like the buzzing of flies that boon has been heard. Sachiko is turning the guru and body, seen as far as the eye could reach. The sound was found to be coming from the sky. When do your eyes to the better? In the sky of Kanata, not lush bottomless pit, one of the black spots appeared. Reflects something date. It was glowing with chika like a star. The black spot has become an instant large. Not a bird, in near the top leaving the body. It is something like the wings of a dragonfly. Is around buzzing, and huge in the head. Glowing sparkling. Seemed like a while ago star is. No difference in this part. Sachiko knew to see someday. It was a plane that helicopter. Along with the shape of the body is increased. The sound has also been increased. A small man figure who is in a transparent cockpit, such as the room of glass, is also visible. I wonder where to go. Sachiko is a distant flying machine from their lives, had looked up dazzling helicopter, and come up to just above her head, toward the ground, have a larger form. Gosh, I wonder going to get off to the sides. The sound is just deafening. The aircraft will be in huge and press the eye. It has been blowing the wind, such as saw and storm. Grass is swaying like a wave. Dusty is stirred up in front of the eyes. The body is about to be blown away. Sachiko is covering the face with both hands, no longer able to breathe, but had squatting in place. Soon since ceased the wind. If you open your eyes, on the proximity of about 20 meters of open field, helicopter it was down, and I saw coming down the strange man of one man from the room of glass. It was really like a dream. While I closed my eyes at the earlier of the dusty, the world seemed to do was completely changed. They came down from the glass, such as the ancient warriors of the West as seen in Kageotoko school, wearing a large cloak that wraps around the body, wearing a steel helmet that flies of wings, such as the mane, lowered the long sword. I had a round shield. The scary warrior is. I approaching Nashi and to hear. Sachiko is involuntarily escaped, but is not intended to serve the adult foot. It had been quickly caught up. You would be Sachiko-san. Afraid it is not. I came empty from God to your Mukai. Are waiting for you of happiness in the sky. Come on. Come here. Feverishly in. Close to the helicopter pulled a hand to the scary warrior. Was raised embraced to the room, which was clear and like a big glass. Beautiful woman had been sitting there. After all, such as the angel of the West who have seen in the Kageotoko school. In terms of the adult of words such as Our Lady, was a woman of the people. Tenio picture of Kagezu, which was carrying the baby of a naked, because this angel was not holding anything, to spread the gentle hands. The northern Sachiko the dirty wool clothes. Me prologue embrace warm it was. I feel like has been embraced by somehow dead mama was. Now, I'm now up to heaven. People that are now embrace of Kimi. I become your mother now. You're on behalf born at all. It can become a happy child. Scary warrior. For the driver's seat of the helicopter. While moving the machine, said in gentle voice, then, when I think that wobbling to-do's aircraft fluctuates. Unawares, the helicopter had left the ground. the blue sky. As we climbed to the top, scenery under the eyes went spread interesting. Forest company and farmers is reduced like a toy. The vast Tokyo of the city came to pass, scene that have spread as far as the eye could reach. Then, the sea. Shinagawa of the sea. Tokyo Bay. Pacific Ocean on the other side. On the other hand, is accordance mountains around Mount Fuji. Was towered clearly. Well, I'm accustomed to pigeons. Then, the broad sky, I'm flying to the left I think. On top that was accustomed to pigeons. Instead of the mother. 100 times greater than the mother, also beautiful angel is. I may have hugged tightly. Sachiko was thought that dream to dream. No, it was happy enough to have never seen even once in any dream. 12-year-old pathetic puss. Sachiko Sonis. After you have seen the dream of this fairy tale, taken drawn to Miyako of the apartment, one of the mistress of Kageotoko Aizawa, such happy as to the day from the night it came to life, and clothed the new sailor suit. He began to attend also to the school. It is in the Ragman Ozone of the original army captain. Shed tears listening to the good luck of Sachiko. Then, we accept that themselves also become businessman Aizawa Mr. Take care of Osaka Bay and his wife is put in the time being the hospital in the hands of Mr. Aizawa. Moravoda's own husband soon left the hospital. Got a job to guard the length of a company. This was also a matter of course. Aizawa's good offices. Not live in another shack. It was also almost complete recovery in Al-Do-Ren. The next day at midnight, in the house basement of the open field of Yoyogi, those garbled variants were gathered together, a dozen. Since the corruption Monodomo has wrapped the whole body with a black undercover hood and black gown. But the identity did not even know what's that they are human beings. From the limb, in that they are all women. It could be inferred from the speaking voice. Basement had more than 10 square meters. The floor is laid the carpet of gray color. The ceiling and the wall is the skin of concrete had become bare. The code that dropped from the ceiling. 200 watts of naked light bulb was shining. A dozen of the monster made a circle. Alone standing on one end had been talking in his speech tone. It was a voice of middle-aged women. Dear, we are the past year. By your efforts of the people of the occasional secretary. At the sight of strange anomalies that cannot be seen in ordinary society. Taste all the thrill. We enjoy the horror. We, to the extent not be flavor and men of any bizarre. It is then has been experienced extreme joy. A certain time was told the dead in the middle of the night in the cemetery. Sometime around the culprit of the robbery assault. To listen to the experiences year. On one occasion has hired a lot of male nude model. Was Kyoji to sketching and photography. Is the time to open the mass dance of men and women mixing. Set the partner in Chojian. Allow free action of overnight year. On one occasion is. Collect all sorts of things one end. Drink together. When the fun we had. There to dance together. Everyone becomes the unsightly woman beggar. Or a certain time. Chindonia masked next. We experienced the assault and growth come in a variety temptation there. On the one hand, we did not forget the game that combines the interests of male beauty and gambling. Naked man of boxing, wrestling and gold and silver in the game. Gem. You may bet even the chastity Heitua. However, we must not in any way criminal. Beisho not a woman. You do not throw away a life of honor and status of each other. While fulfill the social life. As a safety valve to vent the human original desire. This secret club was organized. We make this masked, only when dressed in gowns, and completely isolated from society. Discard all the grooming and trappings. It becomes human remains were born. Then, it carried out a while. But once if you take the undercover, we are all, is the humble working people, servant to her husband, and lessons learned from the children, is a chaste Naru wife showing arrange in servant. It will be a lady. We are, precisely in order to fulfill the ethics of such social life. Do you need a meeting of the secret? Any lady, in the night of the dream, from the daytime of life may be the action of vulgar brutality cannot even imagine. Its name is because it is an outlet of the dream has been suppressed instinct. We of this meeting is what so-called alternative to the dream, hidden for some time to cover for undercover. I enjoy the dream of the night people, the people already that you know. I mentioned my name at length, but please forgive me because it is customary, every time, prior to entering the event, repeated the meaning of the association, to firmly our unity. This is well, it is like our chant. Well, now that Hunt's finally thrill of perfection of do-ren competition tonight, the effort you of our duty secretary, because we found a young man of quite ideal futari. Tonight, the competition, the other people on duty secretary, everyone also because I do not know, but I will a little explanation. There is the world bullfighting, there is fighting dogs, there is cockfighting, and brother do-ren out of nothing and was starting from the idea that there are at tonight's event. This is also leading phase to the thrill of human hunting. Police officers were omitted in the town criminals. They're on a mission that hunt out in surrounding from 4 directions. This is human hunting in the official government permission. Old tyrant, amidst a sinner in unmanned island. Only the time, he is hiding on an island in the jungle. That acquittal if you can maneuver skillfully siege of pursuers. Figured out a kind of competitively thrill thing. Sinner stood in death or acquitted of the brink. In a limited time, breath around fled Tade, servants of the tyrant to be hunting it. The thrill of human hunting is not a place ranging far away, such as bullfighting. However, do-ren tonight is not the kind of large-scale human hunting. It is a battle of one person and alone, rather than cattle and humans. We human beings and human beings. Boxer that does not fit a glove. It wrestling, sumo, judo, not a foul be used any hand. One is completely lost the fighting spirit. It is a battle of up to will not be able to stand again. The winner of this do-ren will be given a prize of 200,000 yen. In addition, you can Nasaro a bet on either the militants also everyone. In other words, it means that you taste an human bullet phase depression struggle of youth. A double thrill of the game of betting. Now, let's introduce the fighters. Quote, this is probably Haruki wife the leader. With a view fit with one hand ends the commentary. Obo Shiki alone with nearby knee was on duty the secretary of the entrance of the basement. Opened the door, then, out of the darkness of the other side of the door, beauty, youth, a little face of naked of the two have appeared standing in the middle of the ladies of the undercover made the engine steam. The more I think that how dare these youth are aligned also futari. Face and body also was an ideal fighter. People of undercover is drinking for a while voice. Had admired the sight of splendid two youth. Eventually, people of mass seems a little while ago Grandmaster opened the mouth. Konoho our name and profession and leave face down for a while. Boxing, wrestling, sumo, judo and other guarantees that there is no also a specialist in any arena. As you can see, the owner of any inferior unexpected fine body is competence also will be probably no party here too. Is called here the person even if the black there because a little color of the skin is black then we call theirs white. As Westerners because you started to the white peel. Black is darker eyebrows. Nose is large. Was the lips thick handsome man. There was a strange charm to the eyes and cold sores. Black and also say a smoother peel of golden brown. And the shoulder that was chunky. Raised arm muscles. Rich chest hair. The ridge of the muscles of the lower abdomen was impressively as Greek sculpture. White is peel of pink. Charming. High nose. Red and thin lips. Gently so that the eyes of the double eyelid is a woman. As a plump, yet things line from the well-tight to nose. Was beautiful ravishingly. In. Please bet on one or the other. You decide now. Is secretary refrain from your application to the notebook. Do not saying the before you the name of everyone. As usual, is ABC. There is sewn to the corner of the undercover in the alphabet. Please apply. Secretary with a notebook was round the circle. Another in bed amount of black. White was told unanimously. Wager a total of 340,000 yen to the black. White was raised called the 290,000 yen. Militants of the two of this do ren but nothing is a thing called foul-in. Just that the it thoroughly yatsu carry opponent had been told in advance. Now we are just waiting for the view fit of struggle, the start of the secretary. There was a fit view. Two young men is divided into left and right with a package. Spread the crotch, holding a fist of both, was Nirimiya to Nyodachi. Ladies of masked, in quiet a scene. There was no one that the stuck under certain undercover was already breathing becomes violently. A long standoff. In the meantime, the muscles of both the young man went tense likely to bursting. Finally taking a break from being ripe, I rushed in terrible momentum from both. Human bullet has collide violently. Initially, each other against the enigmatic boxer. Was each other beat. Forearms that Tsujiba is interlaced. Worked like a piston. First blood on the cheek of the white flows. Black was also hurt under the eyes. In order to avoid the fist of the other party, the meat group was approached unexpectedly. It became the pair out. Routinely through the waist of the white. Black is on top of the carpet. Fell to Nokizama. White, it is way in on it. The fight has been showing signs of wrestling. Dent presser. Splash. Entangled with rumbling Tokoroge around scissors other's face and the two legs are handstand. Tighten. Furi Hidoki becomes on. Becomes lower. Roll over. It reversed. Each time every time. Every part of two of the meat delegation. Tsujibari, trembling, was dynamic. Under the black, white in the upper. Long time, holding down. Move huge asses mokomoku and shaking. Made the muscles of the thigh and the arm with the mass up and down and GU. Extreme systemic tension. I was shivering and trembling in. The other two of the meat mass was terra about slipping a hand to grab covered in sweat. 200-watt lightning. Peel of the golden brown and pink was seen shining beautifully. Haunts our undercover is. At first, there were those trembling wanna for a kind of fear. Such people also had entered the obsession ecstasy border. Whole body sweating, cheeks hot flashes. Heart had been beating strangely. Members will not the only woman of the elderly. We are, by the conversation of Kageotoko and its mistress, know that a woman named Koda Hirasakiko, less than 30, is also the member. She cannot be decided as the youngest person. In the shadow of the bizarre black undercover with eyes and mouth in the three-hole, would be to any face is hidden. Their face, beauty, youth of naked. Look at this thing Kuromashiki Netu. Would be to have what kind of facial expressions. Militants were confronted once again, divided into left and right quick. Then, the meat group of golden brown and pink, chasing one chased column to the wall from the wall of the basement, was different to the vertical and horizontal directions. People of undercover was dodging himself screaming each time. But was even that sometimes fall eating a per body of the meat group. Meat mass by fly like a swallow. Fleeing masked women. The basement becomes a confusion of side to Giruding and breathing that militants of wheezing in it. Roar like a beast. Was full of the screams of fear and delight of the ladies. Once again, it became each other pick up the fist uppercut that go on. Meat group that blown away to the other side of the wall. In its reaction, the return jump feet first. Kicking the belly of the foot is the other party. The other party to the contrary is Butsu Karu to the opposite wall. If reversal to a close combat. Face and Iwazu, chest and Iwazu, belly and Iwazu. Poked so that both of the fist of the machine gun. Even to the skin of golden brown. Also on the skin of pink. Countless wound of opens. River of blood of the mesh flows in the whole body. In the body, it is paired with beating the bottom on the B also. encouragement, such as the masked lady's scream that Tamarika is interlaced with a black, quote, white, quote, basement reached pole of sob convulsively enthusiastic. Some ladies was the plight of Syncope Sen Bakari also now. Fighting 1 hour 20 minutes. Fighters are not determined also the other feat. It was staggering. Eyes are weakened also sight the comb flow blood. Mouth filled the sound of whistling while wide open. Shoulder and chest waving to the dying. Legs and jerks. Often fell stumble. However, not determined yet game. Sightseeing, who also had become exhausted. Voice of encouragement even him. Now that begin to burst into sorrowfully as puss. Those ranning shit. Not know the true character. The excitement of the pole began showing signs of madness. Before long, White is in the middle of the carpet. To limp had fallen on his back, exposing the naked in public attention. It had fallen without shame. Black is at his feet, like a statue of fatigue. It had been crouching. The fight looked as if finished. Hans's even frown on the pitch for a moment was watched in pathetic two of the meat group. Silence is accounted for per. In this case, I think also depend unexpected accident has occurred. In the white bloody body, it was unsteadily stood up. It looked like a cruel garbled one's. When he rises, the between Hanses stagger while, and walk toward the door. As to the door, I went disappeared into the dark corridor. Black in the weakened eyesight Mayari the back shot stood up to myself wistfully. White as or was probably escaped losing battle. It remained af black or the winner. It was the event of her think up. From more of the hallway outside the door, I felt as wind saw and a gust blows. Then, from the door, red ones have jumped as Tepodama. It was a systemic bloody white. However, the forms as a human being did not appear on the eyes. For too fast speed, it did not appear only with one of the red mass. Its mass rushed toward the black in a straight line, in its momentum, and the black and white becomes a gang. I hit behind the wall. It was a bad sound. When it is stationary but Suka, for the first time found that the particulars of things. White is summon up the last of the force had tried to head a butt to the chest of the black. The head of the white seemed to be stuck to the chest of the black. The white went out to the hallway. The distance was to put the speed gaining. Complexion of the black is pale at moment. Did not move while limp to sit on the wall side. Down was also folded white but, before long, began to stuck mozo. However, black it did not move even after forever. Another whole body had changed in color, such as the old cloth that was smeared with blood. Masked ladies, hold crouched at each location. In a daze, was looking at this plight. Basement was silence the scene is grave. What happened? No longer that's it? Someone murmured in sleepy, such as voice. But it's somewhat strange. That person will not working why. After a while, I heard another sleepy voice. Indeed, first I stood up for was a team leader seems to masked woman. While she was wobbling, then the near to the place of the wall sigh of black. Or touch to the body. Or look at the pulse. Had been her doing your hand in front of mouth. Tardily the face facing here much out perigo. Dressed like to be a secret story. Dead. If while saying a word in the posture of as it is of the waist it was also staring forever. Transvestite men, masked women of a dozen people who have Kyojita Dorenas. Had quiet a scene to see it. It is manslaughter. Ho is to not keep Ikanu. It cannot be escaping this state. But, when you are examined by the police, can horror of overmay the existence of secret malicious play organization. Have a cumulative to can horror masters who are in the position and honor more important than anything. And thus the destruction of the only Kanahora own. So, it should not be absolutely not known to the police. To say that, herein one of the youth is dead. If you leave it as it is, it could also be a horrible murder. Masked ladies of a dozen people is. To think about this to every man, was trembling in fear as the heart also stops. if more convenient events, but a place to dodge the cry as let's do, but did not out even such a voice. Kanehura had solidified at the brink of feigning. Haruki original marquise of separation Harry a leader even. Just walk wandering to stagger past the dead, was a state which is not float whatsoever of wisdom. At that time, women with stitching that eat masked, by buckwheat of Haruki wife of the leader. But something was out here for a while, then headed by Mrs. Nada deeply, facing to everyone, because I was in everyone, that now nearing the doctor, leaving only C's of tonight's secretary. Please gathered in the parlor on the details on how after. Then, this person also pointed to the white youthan. Everyone please take me to the top in. Do you walk? Quote. White, young man, with facial expressions, such as tears of joy, was my eyes nodded. In, dressed in this person, in bed in the bedroom. Because there will be please let me for some time sleeping. Something in the dues door of the cafeteria drink. Please let them drink. It is the bedroom you know I nay. One of the masked lady, the saying, we know, took the hands of the youth. And, everyone is out in the hallway in droves. It went up the stairs to the first floor. A Toniwa, a leader Haruki wife, and C lady on duty secretary. Only the E lady whispered something to a little while ago leader remained. C of the secretary is a pharmaceutical company president Mrs. named Tomoko Ninomiya. E is in Mrs. emerging trading company president. That it is still Sakiko Koda Hira that is not even 30. Grandmaster was familiar. The Sakiko Koda Hira of E. Crowded crouched on top of the black young man fell down. Had frequently examined the situation. With a gesture of despair. We are dead at all. My head I have cracks. If not breath, heart also stopped completely. But it is that all bad and you to become you can see. Grandmaster wife was asking in return ish anxiety. I know there are the better the experience. Dad any good doctor, you will not be able to any more revitalize this person. But you are now, just because called the doctor, is not that you said to alienate everyone. Yes, you call, then, to announce to you that this person was rambling life. You get back to your house. If you do not do so, because as the member of many, secret from everyone's mouth there may be a leak. Of course, to be the other party of youth. It is the idea to lie down that I say dead this person. I to pull taken with confidence. Quote. To be continued. Thank you for your viewing. If you like please subscribe to the channel. I am very encouraged.